All right, welcome everyone. I'm Kale, he, him. This is our 8th session of Urban Shadows 2E. And let's just go around and do some introductions. Brandon, why don't you go first?
Hi, I'm Brandon. I am playing Dancy Flammarion, who is using the Sworn playbook. She is a very young woman who is an albino, who used to be a monster hunter in the rural South, and washed out of that profession for important reasons. Including getting poisoned by a horror, and has now sworn fealty to the group Euthanatos, who is a death cult that has very strong beliefs on life and death and not transgressing the boundary.
All right, Kay.
Hello, I'm Kay of the She and They Variety, and I am playing Red, he, him pronouns, our Oracle, who has just gotten into a bit of an argument for the first time with his benefactor and has packed up a bag to go stay with his vampire boyfriend, Carrie. And maybe he'll do the favor he was going to do and get the sword, but maybe not. We'll see. He's Anki.
And speaking of Carrie, Jesse.
Yeah, I'm Jesse. He, him. I'm playing Carrie, he, him, the vamp. Carrie does, in fact, own this hat, although I think he's too stylish a dresser to actually wear it in public. But, you know, he was a kid in the 60s, and it was cool to have football in Boston back then. Still is. But anyways, so Carrie took, I think I finally realized what particular kind of asshole he is. And he is, I thought he was like this super greedy, grasping, manipulative asshole, and he's greedy and grasping and manipulative. He's the particular kind of greedy and grasping manipulative that doesn't want to that's like middle management bureaucrat and like mid-level criminal, doesn't really want to shake things up, and doesn't want to because things are doing all right. And he will lie, beg, cheat, and steal to keep it that way until maybe not anymore. I don't know. We'll see. I also leveled up the end of last session, and just I took the imp move. I'm a fucking demon. Reskinned it as I'm a fucking vampire, because frankly, Carrie felt kind of soft and fragile the last time he got into a fight. And he's worried he might get into a fight soon, because he's picking some fights finally. So ignore all harm the first time someone or something inflicts at least 2 harm on you in a scene. At the end of each scene, clear your faint harm box, which I think makes a lot of sense for a vampire. Yep, and that's Carrie. He's just trying to come out of this whole thing okay, and maybe on top. We'll see.
Excellent. All right, I think we had a few different threads running last time. I think I want to start off with Dancy. You and Tlaylock had just gotten away from the Volkov lab holding cell. I don't know that
Dungeon.
that Tlaylock had been imprisoned in. And I think you were on your way to. I think last you said you were on your way up to Liminal.
Yes.
Where the Queen of Spiders makes her home.
That is where she manifests more often than not.
So what is what is Dancy hoping to? What is she expecting that is going to happen when she delivers Tlaylock?
She has no idea.
No idea. Okay.
No. They're probably not going to kill him because they would have asked her to do that.
Mm-hmm.
No, that doesn't. So they might. They probably desire his cooperation in some important way. That's probably not going to be the great for Playlock.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But it's better than dying, right? It is.
Um,
Dancy told him the absolute truth. She didn't, as far as she understood her mission.
all right. Excellent. Can you just give us
Yeah.
Can you tell us like what is the thing at Liminal that kind of has that caught Nancy's attention the most the first time she was taken there, or
Well, Liminal has a public face and it has a private face. Publicly, it is a boutique funeral and end-of-life parlor, specializing in unusual services. Esoterica things with unusual themes that most funeral parlors wouldn't touch. Funeral services that are more like celebrations than anything else, which are very culturally appropriate for some of the cultures in and around Boston, but don't have a lot of institutional support. They will do an authentic Haitian, Loa celebration, invoking, Baron Lacroix for people like that. And their specialty is that getting these things right, and cooperation with local practitioners and supporting them. It has the front room of Liminal has a very sort of soft focus, and melancholy, a kind of spooky vibe to it, without a lot of specific religious imagery. Bits and pieces of a lot of different things worked into it. Those who have private things to arrange go into one of the back rooms there to talk to one of the specialists there. And those who have very unusual and particular leads go to talk to the Queen of Spiders. As to those who come there asking favors for those people who know about such things. The entire thing is in actual. Sensitives will know that the entire place is a death temple, and it's warded religiously. Scrying within it is virtually impossible because it's the way scrying into a closely attended cathedral might be.
excellent. You mentioned there's this sort of the front face and the private.
Yeah, when you come in the front, someone greets you, and they ask you, and it's almost like coming to a sort of new age, massage place. Except that everything is a little bit artier. A little more, modern art decor and things like that. But soon someone assesses your needs and they decide where on the food chain you are and how they can best direct you. They're almost the antithesis of the one-size-fits-all approach.
Now, would you walk Slaylock right through the front door, or are you taking him sort of around the back?
He's kind of filthy, isn't he?
Yeah, I can't imagine
Yeah,
you're letting
no,
him.
I'm gonna. There's an entrance where remains come in.
Mhm.
You know, bodies and you know, old bones and things like that, where they're brought in. The front's strictly for you know, is you know, is very high class. So I'm going to bring him in there because neither of us is has the right has the right vibe for the front right now.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to give the business a funny name.
Yeah, walking in there with your leg bleeding is probably not going to.
Oh, they don't
put
like
you in a
Nancy to come in the front door anytime, because of her, you know, kind of haphazard approach to self-care.
Excellent. So you sort of walk through the kind of dark back, back room, back hallways, in liminal, as you know, kind of, you know your way around, but it's always a little bit, it can be a little bit confusing. The hallways sort of meander to the center, where
They do. People say that if you don't know where you're going in that building, you get invariably lost, even though it's not a very big building.
And when you get to the Queen of Spiders office, she's sitting behind her sort of jet black onyx slab of a desk, and she looks at you, Tansy, you've brought us someone.
I have, Your Majesty. This is Jeremiah Slaylock.
Excellent. And he didn't give you too much trouble, did he?
Actually, no, he didn't give me any trouble at all, except for fleeing in the first place. But I think he was under duress when I found him. Evidently, Stella's people had kidnapped him to work on an abomination in their basement.
Stella. Well, I'm glad you put a stop to that. Certainly wouldn't want well, what we wouldn't want our good Jeremiah's skills put to an ill use.
I looked sideways at him.
He sort of he kind of looks at her and looks between the two of you. Stella was the one making me build that golem. I certainly wouldn't have wanted it myself.
No one has any problems with you studying death, Jeremiah. It's making dead things move. That's the problem. You know that, right?
And the queen stands. She's been sort of just kind of sort of slowly, her fingers have just sort of been walking across her desk as you've been talking, but then she kind of suddenly, almost uh, almost before you can kind of notice, see that she's moving. She's standing now in front of Tlaylock, kind of finger under his chin, and she is very tall, sort of almost.
Dancy takes a deep breath. She's been around the Seraph, but even so, it's hard to be that close to the Queen of Spiders.
Now, Jeremiah, dear, what we sent our friend Dancy here after you, not for this abomination that you were building, but for other things. You were working with a vampire. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you were doing? Jesse, Carrie, what were you
Yes.
have any thoughts about what you would have been funding?
Oh, I haven't thought hard about it, if I'm being honest. Just thinking about the kind of like mid-level crime stuff that Carrie gets up to. Tlaylock's a necromancer, right?
Yes.
Right. And I think my deal kind of has been, I mostly gather crews, get crews, I take a cut. So I wonder if it was like zombie mooks. That feels both like something I would potentially be into and something you Thanatos would hate. Right. Like, you're not going to get your second story man is not going to be a zombie, but like if you need a little bit of like low level muscle on a job, like some kind of relatively cheap short term undead, that might have been sort of what the project was. That sounds like something I would have gotten into if Tlaylock pitched it to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I mean, Tlaylock is, I think, less. He's definitely more in the sort of opportunistic business space than he is in the broader, more
But
the
like,
long term.
But if we've got a world where Euthanatos is policing this stuff, it makes sense also that like there isn't a lot of like just random undead walking around like that.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I don't know how much influence they have in general, Brandon, but just I think it makes sense that this is a world where we don't have a lot of zombie mooks, and certainly not cheap zombie mooks, and maybe this is a business opportunity here.
The Euthanatos' influence comes from the fact from death magic, right? Which they are terrific at. And so when they
they're
come
the
out,
only people who can supply zombie mooks. Is that it? I'm sorry, that was a serious question. I didn't mean that.
They no, they have magic. They have magic that's powered by death.
Got it.
So they and the Queen of Spiders is a deity. So they have it in their capacity. For example, they have some claim over any any magic or any artifact magic that somebody dies with, to a certain degree. And they have and they they basically have sources of magical power that are powered by death. And so there are a number of people in the city who trade for those things. And they have a fair amount of influence as a result of that. So people don't usually want to get on their bad side.
And so the sort of the cheapening of necromancy in this sense is probably something that they would not be in favor of. For
The Queen of
both.
Spiders, for whatever reason, right, doesn't like undeath. Which doesn't mean that Euthanatos is at war with the vampires. But it means that were the vampires to kind of step up their recruitment game too much, they would result in Ket's pushback.
I mean, Carrie doesn't know what that means. Vampires are just alive, but zombies certainly are not. Yeah.
Zombies aren't. The summoning. Other things they don't like. They don't
Yeah.
like. They don't like the summoning of retributive spirits. Of ghouls and not in the vampire sense. But all sorts of spirits summoned from beyond the grave to possess people or to animate things, to be bound into magical items, and so on and so forth.
Very cool. Yeah. All right. So that I think it sounds like this makes a lot of sense as something Euthanatos would be not thrilled with.
So I think I think Tlaylock sort of stammers out a little bit, and the kind of what he's been doing. I think he is not he's perhaps not so resistant to the Queen's aura as you are with some experience, Dancy. And she turns to you and says, well, we certainly can't have this continue. Dancy, please take a message. Please deliver a warning to the Jeremiah's erstwhile partner that we will be watching. If he's tries to step over the line or is encouraging others to in the future, we'll have a problem.
Yes, Your Majesty.
And I guess so. Let's see.
Is she going to let him go?
What's that? Yeah, I think. Sorry, go ahead.
Is she going to let him go?
Yeah, she will.
I think I think Mr. Tlaylock, Mr. Doctor
is fine.
Dr. Tlaylock can be counted on not to engage in this particular form of activity from this point. Can't you, Doctor?
He kind of, yes, of course.
Okay, you can go then.
Do check in on him every so often, Dancy.
Oh yeah.
Keep a good eye.
If you encounter any rumors that you're working on that sort of thing, Jeremiah, you might want to stomp on them really hard.
Understood. Thank you, my queen. He sort of backs out, and tries to get out of there.
I tell him it's easier to get out if you close your eyes. And just go where your feet want to take you.
Ah. Shuts his eyes. Out the door.
Anything else, Your Majesty?
Not at this. Actually, while you are here, we have some concerns about LaCroix. And
Really?
he may be vulnerable to enticement. We've been hearing rumors that has been talking to some demons, perhaps. And if you could just keep an eye out, keep an eye on him, make sure that
Do you want me to follow him around? I can't just. His and my paths don't cross that much.
Yes. Yeah. Follow him, or perhaps see if he's. Yeah. Do what you need to figure out, to see if he is at risk of betraying our cause.
I'll spend a day telling him.
And of course, I'm sure I don't need to tell you that there's we need your utmost discretion on this.
I never tell anybody anything they don't have to know.
Very well.
Silence of the grave and all that.
Exactly. I think with that,
crappy little joke.
I think with that, she dismisses you.
I am dismissed.
And I want to jump over. I think we Red, I think so. You left with a duffel bag headed to Carrie's. I don't know if we want to. Do you want to do that arrival scene?
Yeah, I think. Oh, sorry. We can space it out. However, he could have stopped and done the Euthanatos thing before he went to Carrie, or he could go to Carrie first. I'm happy either way.
I'm good either way with that. There's a part of me that thinks it's fun if Dancy is seeking out Carrie and Red both in different ways, to have like one of those two conversations start and then at some point have the third party enter it. Just because I think that can always be like an interesting, fun way to generate chemistry in a scene and cool stuff in a scene.
How do we...
But I don't know if
you should totally stop by Euthanatos.
Yeah, I was gonna say it could be fun if we have sort of the Red scene, right? He goes Euthanatos, he gets the sword, and as he's leaving, he bumps into Dancy. He's like, "Oh, Red, what are you doing around here?" And Red's like, "Oh, I'm actually," looks at the bag and is kind of like, "Oh, well, actually, I was heading towards Carrie's. I got into a fight with Percival." And
sure, let's do it.
Maybe Dancy's like, "Oh, I was hoping to talk. Can I escort you?" And then they talk. Meanwhile, Red's fucking carrying this thing he stole from Thanatos, and then they end up on Carrie's door. You like that idea?
Sounds good.
Does that work for you, Jesse?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All
So,
right.
yeah, I think Red is at the Thanatos building with a sack and a device.
Yeah. So I think Amina has sort of given you some the parameters, and basically you can kind of trade off like the distance that you can go and the sort of the size of the portal, and like how long the portal's going to stay open. So I guess the question is, and I would say I don't know that you I don't know that you have any information yet as to kind of exactly where the
He knows the building and the section of the building.
Right. Yeah, I guess because you did have the whole dream with where you sort of watched the whatever it was trying to get into the
Yeah, and he also got information from Mrs. Lane. He cashed in that debt as well.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, are you going to attempt to reach at a distance, give yourself some more space from the sort of the scene of the crime, but maybe you're almost sort of taking a shot at the dark, as far as like opening a hand-sized portal and pulling it out, or are you going to open it big enough for you to sort of walk through so that you can get your bearings, but then you'll have to be either closer to the building and you can keep the portal open long enough to like get out again, or more of a sort of easy in but maybe not easy to get out situation?
I think he's gonna go closer.
Okay.
And I think he's gonna try to maybe find like a coffee shop or some like small business that's on like either the block, the same block as the Thanatos building, or a block over.
Yep.
He is going to pull out a wad of cash.
Okay.
And he's going to say, listen, I'm going to take over your storeroom for the next XYZ amount of time. No one goes in, no one goes out. And then, half of this, quarter of this is yours now, and you get the other 3/4 once I walk out.
Nice. I think getting a private space in the storeroom with the amount of cash that Red can throw around is probably easy enough to do. I think the question though is, let's see. I feel like we need a move here to capture the sort of in an situation. I feel like keep your cool is probably the thing, or
Makes sense.
Mostly in that it's the kind of the more generic, like there is not a specific thing here, but there is risk, if that makes sense.
Does the item like give me advantage or anything like that, or?
I think the item is giving you the I think it's giving you the sort of the permission to do this, kind of jump into the building and not have to like negotiate your way through a bunch of people.
Can I share a thought here?
Yes,
maybe,
please.
In terms of, so like the thing about keep your cool as a move that I think makes it useful here in these kinds of situations, right, is that it's framed around what are you afraid of?
Yeah.
Right? Like you set your own stakes for the move,
that's right.
Right? So like if this is a difficult or challenging thing, like why do you think this is a difficult, like the player can sort of articulate that. the MC can help by framing the fiction in a way that gives them clear things to be afraid of. But like that way, and if there isn't anything, then maybe it's not the right role. But like that, I think is like a helpful way to think about
Yeah.
like when you're sort of stuck on
Yes.
these moments. Well,
Yeah.
the move asks if what you're afraid of, so that can be a
Yeah,
way
well, I
in.
think the fear is he knows this will get him in. This will get him in theoretically unspotted. The concern is that he won't be as close as he wants to be to where he needs to grab the thing. Hopefully he opens it, bing, bang, boom, sword's right there. He's hoping he's not going to have to, cross a hallway into another room, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Of that nature.
Run into death wards and guards. And
Yeah. No, this tool is supposed to prevent those.
supposed to.
All right. So you're sort of it sounds like the biggest thing you're worried about is kind of the entanglements you might hit once you cross this portal before you can actually get to the sword. Is that?
Yeah, like the distance.
Yep. All right.
That's a 9.
That's a 9. Okay. Let's see. So I think, let's see, how does so you step through the portal, and you recognize you kind of recognize the hallway from your dream. It doesn't have, it's not splattered in blood the way it was when you were sort of following the whatever beast it was that was coming through here. But you know that the sword is sort of down this hallway and like in a room of kind of a few doors down, right? You sort of
What is the cost? I'm a little confused by this response.
Yeah. So the thing is that as you're sort of recognizing where you are, you also you hear a you hear someone coming down the hallway.
I don't understand how that translates to the move response that I got, because from my understanding, and correct me if I'm misinterpreting the moves, but I'm comparing it to other moves similarly that I know.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like on a 9, given the written word of the MC will tell you what it's going to cost. It sounds like I can do the thing. It's just there's a cost involved that I will have to pay that you will tell me to do.
Yes.
I have a suggestion. If you want to hear it.
Sure.
Perhaps Red is able to find the sword and combination of sort of oracular sixth sense and markings around the sword indicate that it is a ward. It's not a lethal ward, but has some sort of hex in it. Perhaps designed to make it hard to steal without being known.
Yeah, so I think that was actually sort of this that is a different direction on, but I think the same sort of idea that I was of the cost I was going to give.
Just a suggestion.
I think what I was going to say is the cost here is you either need to you can make a break, you could like get the sword, but whoever's coming down this hall is going to you can get the sword and get out, but whoever's coming down this hall is going to see enough of you to kind of recognize you, perhaps recognize you down the line, or to know kind of who they need to be looking for.
Okay. Can I let it all out to kind of twist the strands of fate to hinder that NPC from seeing me? Or can I attempt to?
Sure.
All right, we've let it out as also with spirit. Yes. Okay. That is also a 9.
All right.
On a hit, mark corruption. Activate the MC will tell you how the effect is costly, limited, or unstable. On a 10 plus, ignore the corruption of the complications of your choice. Okay, so I'm gonna mark a corruption, which I think means I at a 5, I get to take my first corruption move. Yay!
All right, and let's see. So limited. Costly, limited, or unstable. So you were trying to specifically
twist the strings of fate to hinder this NPC, theoretically, in the hopes that they would not be able to visually see me.
Right. Okay. So let's see. So tell me how this feels. I was thinking that perhaps the outcome of you sort of meddling with the strands of fates is that you're going to be able to you're going to have sort of the luck you need to get out of the building without being seen. But you're going to get almost a sort of a snap back. You know, the strands will snap back, and someone else will recognize that you've sort of made this theft, and I'm gonna come out and say that it's gonna be Dancy. Dancy is going to be able to like, I don't know if the you know, the sword will slip out of your bag or something else, but
no, I have a mechanism for that. If that's acceptable.
Okay, yeah. I guess the cost here is that Dancy is going to be able to is going to be the one that figures out that you were the one that took the sword.
Okay, I'm okay with that fact that Dancy will be the one who knows. I think that's fair.
Cool. So with that, you've got the sword. You're out of the Youth Thanatos. I assume you pay the coffee shop owner and are heading out now. Dancy, how do you want to set this up as far as where you're going to run into Red? You said you had a mechanism in mind for this.
Oh, not for the encounter, but for
okay.
the other thing.
The complication. Yeah. Do you guys just are you run into
fate.
each other on the street?
It's just fate.
I think it is. Yeah.
I think I'm sitting on a bench by the sidewalk, and I'm rebandaging my leg.
I think Red has just zippered the sword up into his bag and is kind of rushing a bit, and maybe your leg is mildly sticking out as you're rewrapping it.
Sure.
And he kind of trips a little on your leg and has to like flail with his arms to kind of catch himself.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, Dancy.
Jeez, I'm sorry.
Dancy. Sorry. Hey, Dancy. Oh, of course you're. Hi.
I'll help you out.
I'm so sorry.
Ow.
Oh shoot. Did I?
You're
bad.
You were just charging through there with your head down.
Yeah, sorry.
You okay?
just a wee bit emotional. And just had me plowing through, which wasn't right or fair of me. I'm so sorry.
You in a big fat hurry?
Uh,
I did kind of want to talk to you.
do you mind if we walk and talk?
No, sure. Let me get my. Dancy freezes and she pulls her knife and she goes, Red,
Dancy?
there's something terrible in your bag. You better set it down and take a couple steps back.
No, this bag is mine.
And she's staring at your bag.
This is my bag, and I'd really appreciate it if you put the knife away, because you're kind of scaring me right now.
Yeah, that's because there's a thing back there.
Yeah, but the thing back there is mine, and it's
No.
fine where it is.
No way. It's not yours. It's not anybody's.
It's currently mine, and
You've got a demon in your backpack.
it's not directly a demon. It's demon adjacent.
You have a demon-possessed artifact in your backpack.
And I get that, but it's going to save lives of people I care about.
Give Dancy credit for not dropping the knife when she bursts out laughing. You're kidding me.
No, I've seen things, and this is the only way I keep my friend alive. Now, do you want to walk and talk, or are you going to just
Are you going to explain to me how something whose major property is killing souls is going to keep somebody alive?
It's going to help them kill someone who, honestly, I don't know if they have a soul, but who's sometimes a bad person, but also sometimes a good person. I'm a little tripped up on that part myself. But
can you, Red, what are you?
Can you walk and talk?
What are you doing?
What am I doing? I'm doing what needs to be done.
I'm going to see if I can. I'm going to try to figure you out.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
I have a 7. And I'm in your circle, so I get another question. You get a question back.
Oh, nice.
Of me. So the first one is, how can I get your character to level with me?
I think he's trying to. He's just not that great at it, honestly. He's trying to tell you the truth, which is the level is he saw a vision, and this sword is how he keeps his friend, Stella, alive. And without it, she dies. So you don't have to do more than you're doing, honestly. He is being level with you.
Do you know who's pulling your strings? Can I ask that one?
You can if you want. I don't know if I'll give you the answer, and if you find it unsatisfactory, you can ask a different one.
Sure.
Which is, I think, as far as Red's aware, Fate. There's like the strings of Fate. He is an oracle. He is Fate's plaything, and Fate is the one who is giving him.
Yeah. Although, but
these
Fate
visions,
doesn't ask you no questions.
Yeah.
Other people.
Fate is the one giving him these visions.
I'll hold on to my third question. What's your question?
Okay. Do I pull from this list, or do I ask any question?
One of these questions.
Yeah, one of those.
Okay. How could I get your character to let me walk away with this sword without stabbing me?
Let me honestly listen to me when I try to persuade you what a terrible, terrible idea is.
Okay, no, and I think Red will say, he's like, all right, you know what?
Okay.
I wanna hear you out. How about
how about we take a nice long walk?
We take a nice long walk. Maybe I'll buy you a drink. We'll buy some drinks, maybe some coffee or something.
Oh, can we
for a
get the
walk.
little? Oh, can we get those like peach milky things?
Yeah, we can get the peach milky things.
I like.
And yeah, no, peach milky things are great. I love peaches. Peaches remind me of home.
They don't have them at the convenience store near
all right,
where
well,
I usually sleep.
Red just takes a deep sigh because it hurts him. And he nods his head. Yeah, we'll get a couple. We'll get some peach milky things, and we'll start walking. You tell me your end of this while we walk there, and once you've
Okay.
got peach milky things, I can tell
I'm
you.
going to put away my knife. But if
Thank
that thing moves on of its own accord, I can't promise nothing.
As long as the knife isn't aimed at me, I think we're good.
No, I don't want to hurt you.
I appreciate that.
No, I mean, I really don't want to hurt you.
Thank you.
I want you to.
Been hurt enough today.
I want you to take a good hard look at yourself. I guess I don't know. So tell me what's going on. Why do you have? Why do you have that thing with you? I thought that was safely under wards.
Fate wanted me to
And
have
it-
my hands on it.
No. You know, I'm either going to have to lie for you, which hurts, or there's going to be a whole bunch of really powerful people who are incredibly pissed at you. And I haven't decided which one of those it is.
That's your choice to make, and I respect the fact that you are in a difficult position and you're going to make the choices you need to make. But I had to attend to things for other people that I care about, safety and betterment, and
It's no good helping the people that are your friends if you screw yourself. You know, you won't be around if you're not around tomorrow to help people.
No,
The fact that you helped them today isn't going to be all that great.
I haven't seen my untimely demise yet, so I think I'm doing pretty
You're
good.
necessarily going to see it. Oracles don't always see their own tracks too damn well at all, historically. So as I hear.
In my family, you usually see it. Or I guess, then again, my line's usually the ladies, so I don't know.
And usually when they do see it, right, it's like it's inevitable.
Yeah, it's inevitable. When they see it, it's
Yeah.
inevitable, but they
Yeah.
usually always see it.
So yeah,
But
the fact you haven't seen it doesn't mean that fate hasn't shown you all that much.
Mhm.
So what?
young
So what's going on? Why? How on earth is this thing? Who's going to kill who with it?
it's the deciding factor between Mr. Endicott and Stella. If she has the sword,
She's
He
going to
dies
kill
and she
Endicott with it.
yes. And if she doesn't have the sword, he kills her and he lives.
I can believe that. It is a soul killer, you know. Does that bother you?
It makes me a little uncomfortable. My soul really only belongs to one person, and it's the big guy up there. But
Mine too, although I expect I've lost that gamble.
you never know. Christ the Redeemer, after all. But yeah, I don't like it. It's not what I would have chosen.
And then
Well, I don't make choices.
once she's used it, it'll still be out there.
Well, it's got a intended home after Stella's done using it. Although
Who?
I'm a little cross right now about that.
Who?
Percival.
Oh, Red. What? You're going to give an artifact weapon to someone with that much personal power?
We're connected. It's
Yeah.
It's how I'm meant to serve him. And
You're meant to serve someone who already has too much power by giving them more power.
He doesn't necessarily have too much power.
He has the most personal power of any normal entity.
But he's gonna and that's why I'm probably our destinies are intertwined the way they are, and I'm meant to help him with this,
I
and
don't
then
think you're
gonna
meant
help.
to do anything of the sort. I think that you're meant to have your own mind, make your own decisions.
I have my own
And
mind.
that
I'm making my own decisions, and that's why I have
no,
stuff.
but you're assuming. I thought I was meant to do the bidding of a seraph, and I turned out to be as wrong can be in that. I was sure. I went into the worst places, fought the worst things, because I figured, well, this is my path. An angel has appeared before me to show me this path. And it was a lie. It wasn't my path. And he wasn't an angel.
So what you're trying to tell me that what I see and what I feel in my visions is just gobbledygook?
No,
Means nothing?
no. But I don't believe that you've had a vision of what comes out with you and Percival, nor a vision of what ultimately happens to Percival, because visions mostly don't work that way, as far as I understand.
Well, no, they're
No,
allowed the path, the road, not the resolution.
right. I can tell you what happens if Percival gets a hold of that sword.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, fair. Well, actually, wait 1 second. And I think we're at like a store, and Red ducks in, and he buys. So like when you say peachy milk, are you talking about like?
These are Japanese milk
so like,
sodas that are peach flavored.
Okay, peach flavored. Okay. So I think,
but she never remembered. She can't remember the name of them because they're
so I think he gets a 6-pack of them. He gets several of them with the intent that Dancy can have some to go. But we'll pop the can on one and take a long sip and say, "All right, now."
She empties half of one in one long go.
And then Red will look up and say, "You can finish it and start immediately on another. That way it'll be
No,
easier."
that was good.
Okay. You're gonna have to carry the rest of them. I got a duffel bag.
Sure. That was real good.
Yeah, no, of course. Anytime.
She hooks 2 of the fingers of her left hand and kind of dangles them over her shoulder.
All right. Sorry, you were telling me how you, without oracular abilities, know what's going to happen to Percival.
No, I don't know what's going to happen. I just know that if Percival wanted somebody dead, then he can kill them with his sword. And they are forever gone, and there are very few forces here in the city that could stop them. And the thing is that everyone will know that, and the balance of power will shift, and not in a good way.
And I think for the first time when you say these things, you see conflict on Red's face. Like you were maybe, given prior interactions, it would be safe to assume perhaps that Dancy would expect Red to immediately go, no, da, da, da. There's a pause there. And he seems to actually really be taking in what you're saying.
And Red, Dancy stops and she kind of toes one sneaker into the pavement a little bit. And she looks up at you. She looks right in your eyes. And she says, Red, you have such a gift. You don't realize, I think, how incredibly valuable what you have is to people in this place who are looking for power.
That's not, I'm just...
No. There are all sorts of factions here who would die to have you under their control.
I think that's maybe a little exaggerating there. I'm not even working right now, and I
Stop it. Stop that. Stop it. Your talent's incredible. It's incredible. And you're letting anybody who is nice to you use it. And in one way, that's kind of sweet. But another, it's just calculated to spread as much damage as possible. Whoever has your ear last has an enormous advantage over all the people they hate. And you just go along with that. Well, even you should be telling them what to do, not just offering up your priceless God-given gift for anybody.
I mean, it's not anybody.
And she starts to cry.
Oh shit. Oh god. Red reaches out and he's on one hand he doesn't want to get close because he's scared that you'll do something, but at the same time he feels terrible and just kind of like goes to kind of pat you on the shoulder a bit and like rub a hand across your back. Dancy, I'm sorry.
I wrap my arms around you.
Oh, okay.
And she's not trying anything.
No, yeah, no. And I think
she just buries her chin in your shoulder.
Yeah, and I think
and she goes, I don't know if I'm the only one in this town that doesn't just lie.
This place,
but I think sometimes I'm the only one who'll ever tell you the truth.
And I think he will wrap arms back around you and make stop shushing.
You don't have to listen to me. Nothing.
No, I don't, but I choose to because I respect what you have to say, and I think you're right. I think I used to be real against lying.
I want Red to do right by Red, not by all these other people.
Yeah, well,
who don't. Who are just interested in gaining power.
I think
money.
That's not entirely. I think Carrie cares about me, and you clearly care about me. And I think
sure he does on one level, but on another level, he's on the make so hard.
It's listen, nobody's perfect. I used to.
I ain't telling you who to love and not love you and know it. I'm just saying.
His own way, although I'm angry.
You want to keep what you have with Carrie. Don't ever use your gift for him. Don't ever, because that's too much temptation for any relationship.
Yeah. Oh.
Anybody who wants to use your gift is not ultimately your friend.
I haven't had a lot of friends in a real long time, Dancy. I thought I had some, and it's gotten real dicey lately. But you're a good friend, Dancy, and I don't deserve that from you.
I don't know you too much, but I see what you have, and I see how easily it can become corrupted. I'd cut myself before I'd let that happen.
I think I'd like to maybe do the intimacy move.
Yeah, I'm going to use the intimacy move.
Yeah, definitely. And I was going to call
Red,
for that.
Red,
that said,
you are.
My kids are up, so I need to go. So let's take a break, if we can.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll roll do the intimacy move right when we get back.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, folks. Yeah. All right. I think we had an intimacy move we needed to finish up. Who wants to go first?
I'll name mine because it's going to have to make you think. So then we can actually do Dancy's. Because mine is when you share a moment of intimacy, physical or emotional, with another person, you gain a specific and clear vision about that person's future, more corruption to ask follow-up questions.
I actually already have a vision, shockingly.
Oh, shit. Shock and awe.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think you, so the vision you see, is of, and it's I think so. The thing that's clear is that this is not a will definitely come true, but a could come true. The thing you see is of, Maisie and Dancy together, and Maisie is alive. Yeah. And I think, I guess the question is, are you marking corruption to ask more, or
Of course I am.
I figured you probably would, but yeah.
How is Maisie back from the dead?
How is Maisie back from the dead? Someone must have used the powers of the stone, to bring her back to life. I believe we established in, gosh, what was it? Session 2, maybe? That everyone can use the stone once, and it has powers of life and death.
Would this and again, this is a question, and it's not really for you, Kale, it's for Brandon. Would this situation make Dancy happy?
I may not. Does the vision show that? Or is that a question?
I think that's the question.
The answer might be yes and no.
Well, that's not.
They had a complicated relationship.
All right, I think those are my 2 questions. Unless you want to give me a third one, Kale, because I got yes and no.
Not all yes/no questions have a yes/no answer, right? As the sage says. While you think about that, I will do mine, which is much simpler. I say to Red, look, I don't have to prove to you that I don't want anything from you. So I'm just telling you this to tell you, which is that I don't know if I'm going to tell you, Thanatos, about what you did. And you can decide who ought to be the best custodian of that thing.
Is this you saying I matter more than your oaths? And I get a hold to
Yeah.
summon you should I need you.
Yeah, she's going to lie to you, Thanatos, for you.
Were you already at 4 or were you at 3 corruption?
I was at 3, but it's going to be 5 because she's going to lie.
Okay.
To you, Thanatos, about it.
Got it.
So,
Yep.
It's, 3 teaspoons or a tablespoon,
Which Go ahead.
I was going to say, I will say you do see that it's clear that, you say that, and then Red's eyes kind of do the flash and the white and the purple haze. Or actually, it's a black haze this time, a dark black haze. And you realize he's having a vision about you in that moment.
Are you seeing? You get that, it's like you got that second sight look.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it important?
Do you want to know? It's about you.
Why would you be seeing something about me?
You're kind of in my arms.
Is that the way it works?
Sometimes.
I guess I want to know if you want to tell me.
Um,
I don't know that fate's got any good road blazed
So
out
I-
for me.
I don't know if Red actually knows Maisie's name. So I think Red describes you and says, I see you
What?
with a young woman. And he describes what they look like. And they're,
About middle height, skinny, black hair.
yeah, and they're freshly risen from death. Doesn't seem very dancy for me, does it?
Wait, this is a future looking?
Yeah, this could be a future. Yes.
That's Maisie Harper
Oh,
or her
Yeah.
counterfeit, but she's a ghost. She
not in
died.
this.
She died 2-3 years ago.
Not everyone stays dead if you don't want them to.
I don't figure I have any right to say anymore.
That's something for
Jeez.
you to think on.
You seeing her alive?
With you.
Under stress, Dancy's accent comes out.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
Is, and she backs up, she holds you by the shoulders and looks you dead in the eye. I don't know what to make of that. I don't.
Just know it comes with a price, like most things I see. Not like from me, but just like the universe. I know I have ideas of how things can happen, but those things usually cost a price. He looks to the duffel bag.
Oh, I know what the price would be if it ever came to pass. She'd be an abomination in the sight of the people I work for.
I'm willing to make you an offer right now, Dancy.
I don't.
That's not what I meant.
I don't have what I do because it's the right thing, not because
Well,
anybody.
would
does
you
something
rather
for me.
live with all of this or have some blissful ignorance?
Ignorance? Well, I can't say knowledge has ever helped me, but I think ignorance has hurt me worse.
All right.
So, is that a choice?
It's a choice I can give you. In this moment, I can't always do it, but right now I could give you some blissful ignorance if that's
No.
okay.
No, clue me in and let me do myself. You know,
I need to work out some of the finer details, but I could have, if you would have wanted, I could have taken this moment from you
I don't. Why would you want to take this?
so you could
This
have
is a
blissful
better-
ignorance. You wouldn't
My
remember
my ignorance isn't blissful. To
Sometimes
have
that's what's best for people.
to have a blissful ignorance, you have to start from a place of grace. And
I think you're plenty graceful, Dancy. Now come on, and I think he will twist a little out of the arms. Let's keep
Okay.
going.
okay.
I don't want to keep Carrie waiting too long.
If he loves you, he'll wait for you.
Yeah, but
That's not just no saying. It's
no, but I love
Maisie,
him,
Maisie
and
followed
therefore I
me
don't
all.
want to.
Maisie followed me all the way to Boston, though I never left her any way of knowing where I was.
And I'm sure he'd wait an eternity for me if I asked, but I don't want to make him wait that long.
Besides, you got an eternity, and you recognize that Dancy has made a little joke.
Yeah, and Red smiles and takes a sip of the peach drink. I do not plan to have an eternity.
On the other
So I
hand,
bet-
he cannot appreciate a nice milky pinch drink.
Well, no, sometimes he enjoys things. We had oysters the other night.
Must be a texture thing.
And Red turns a little red. And I think we keep walking to Carrie's door. And there's rap.
Yeah. What time of day is it? Remind me.
Oh yeah. By the way, what time of day is it? It's probably, I don't know. What time of day is it, Red?
Maybe let's go for early evening.
Yeah. So I think.
If you've been walking in the afternoon, Dancy had an umbrella
Yeah.
because she doesn't do well in the direct sun.
Yeah. So I think, if you're catching me in like the early evening, I've probably, like, I met with Stella earlier in the day, let's say, right? I'm back home. I'm like just kind of hanging out. I'm wearing like a ratty Bill Russell jersey. Right, which is like, I don't dress like this out of the house, right? And like a pair of sweatpants, right? And I open the door. I say, I see them, and I say, Red, come on in, Dancy. You come in peace.
I don't expect I would give you fair warning if I didn't.
Well, Dancy's just visiting. They found me while I was on my way here, and like Red's got a big ass duffel.
Yeah, I mean, I step aside. I you could see my eyes kind of like lingering on your bag, and maybe there's a question in my eyes, but I don't ask it out loud. I just sort of invite you.
Yeah, I'll come in. I'll come in.
Yeah.
Um,
Red will step in. Do you mind? I kind of didn't ask. I kind of assumed, and maybe that wasn't polite of me. If I stay for a few days.
yeah, of course. Is everything all right? Finally break it off with Percival.
No, we're not. I'm frustrated with him. He
It's a frustrating dude.
not usually, but just we were negotiating a contract for an apprentice for him, and he decided to loop me in on that contract in a way I did not appreciate for our relationship.
Fellow like that's only interested in owning people.
I mean, I think that's what I said to you the other day, Red. But too personal or too businesslike?
Too businesslike.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't give him the personal. Maybe, I'm not sure. And he just like drops himself into like an armchair, I imagine, in your living room area.
What do you drink while you're over here when you're at my house? I definitely like keep the things that you like in the fridge.
So Red doesn't drink unless like in a position to repressed because he's under the legal drinking age.
Well, I wasn't even talking about alcohol. Like maybe what you like is water or juice or soda.
Yeah,
you know what I
mean?
mean?
I think it's sweet tea. I think it's like Southern sweet tea.
Yeah, sure. Whatever. I pulled out. It's like a nice brand, right? It's not like the Arizona sweet tea.
It's like a real.
It's like, I've got to connect. I say, you want some, Dancy? As I pour Red a glass, put some ice in there.
You make it yourself?
No, I buy it. I don't have the knack.
It's not, I could show you something.
It's honest to God. It's not out of the bottle.
I mean, it is. It is out of a bottle. I don't have.
Sometimes down at the market, some folks sell tea.
Yeah. I mean, sweet tea isn't really the kind of thing that we make up here.
Found that out.
So
I'll stay with my milky drink.
Sure.
She holds up the second half full bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Carrie.
I passed. I said, and we can order in some food if you folks want. We don't have to dwell on that, but just I'm being hospitable. It's the key thing there.
Much appreciated. Dancy sits on the floor.
Mm-hmm. So, did you solve your problem, Dancy? You found your guy?
Yeah, I did. Stella had him in her basement.
Glad the information I gave you was helpful.
Still had to bust him out all by my lonesome, but yeah.
So what? I think I look to Red, and I say, I say, there's an empty drawer in the dresser if you want to unpack that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take a moment and unpack, and Yuku can talk business, and maybe when I come out, I'll figure out something to eat. And Red will take the duffel with him and walk out of the room for a second.
Yeah, and so I look at Dancy. I say, "Do we have any business?"
You going to help keep Red away from Percival?
Red has to make his own choices.
I know.
I wish
We talked about him and Percival a little bit, about that thing he stole.
I don't know anything about that.
You'll find out soon enough. Don't touch it. Okay.
Appreciate the warning.
Yeah, you don't want to touch that thing. Don't get anywhere near the blade if you value your existence.
Thanks.
It is a piece of work.
Good to know.
I ain't gonna tell Red what to do.
What's your angle here, Dancy? I don't.
I mean, why do I care?
Not why do you care? I don't even mean with Red. Clearly, you care about Red. Red's your friend. That's not what I mean. I mean like here in my house in the city. What do you want?
Purpose?
I'd like to try to figure Dancy out here, if that's all right.
For it.
Despite I don't have the die roll. Two d6 plus something low, I believe. When you figure someone out, it is with
mind,
and my mind is not very good, I believe. 0. Yep. So that was a 4 on a miss. I do get to I do not get to ask a question, and there's no set thing. So there's a move here. I think I get to, because you're in my web, I still get to ask you my like web question.
Okay.
Maybe not. Let me double check that. No, it's just an additional option. So if I don't have a question, I can't ask it. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure. I'm looking you over. I'm smelling you. I'm, just trying to get your vibe, and I don't succeed.
I think at as you guys are sitting there talking, the door of your apartment, Carrie, smashes open.
I am instantly up and the knife out.
And a pair of sort of how to describe them? Almost sort of alarmingly nondescript. Like tall, they're sort of medium height, medium build. The one thing that you do sort of, the one thing that you both immediately clock is that they are heavily armed, and they're coming through the door, and they look They look like they're laser focused on you, Carrie.
Yeah, I say, you've got 1 fucking second to apologize for breaking down my door and tell me why you're here, or you're both dead.
They sort of glance at each other for a second, and then they both raise their guns.
If you want to make the first move, Dancy, here, you absolutely can, because I have +1 to lend you a hand. But also, I'm happy to go first if you want.
I hit the deck as they open up, and then pitch a chair at them.
All right. Sounds like a turn to violence.
It is a turn to violence. That's a 9. You want to roll the help?
Yep. Oh, I definitely do. So that's a 5. +1 is a 6, and I roll with your circle also, right? So that is power, which is 0. So I miss. Whatever, I am tangled up in whatever consequence.
Certainly, I think you would, in ways you already were. So I think what happens here. So first, let's see. On a hit, so you inflict harm as established, and your opposition chooses 1. Yeah. So they are going to. I think the harm is established on a chair that it's not great. That said, I think you've got some pretty. I'm sure you've put some oomph behind it. I would like both of you to take 2 harm.
So I avoid that. I think. Can I describe what that looks like?
Mm-hmm. Please.
I think the bullets hit me. They enter my body, and they're stopped as if they have hit me. And you hear like a slight sizzling as they are dissolved inside my body and the wounds close, because I am a fucking vampire.
Excellent.
I think Red kind of ducks his head out from the door, seeing all this. And it's like,
I screech, stay down.
I think Red doesn't entirely listen, and I'd like to let it out again. Again, I'm trying to hinder these NPCs.
All right. So that's got it.
That is an 8.
An 8. So that is on let it out. So mark your corruption.
Yes.
And let's see. So I guess that if the NPCs are hindered, I think that I think mechanically, I think it's going to help out.
For a turn, it's not a long-term hinder.
Yeah. And I think, let's see. Yeah, I think this is basically going to give them it's going to give Carrie or Dancy sort of a beat to react here.
That's great. I'm going to take that beat. I'm just going to, vampiric superhuman speed to the nearest one of these folks, and I'm just gonna bite their neck.
Are you feeding?
I am feeding. Yes.
All right.
And so first of all, I'll take a corruption for. I
Mhm.
assume this is against their will.
Yeah.
These
Sounds
are
right.
these guys are these creatures are human.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a full track. I'll deal with that later. And then I'm gonna roll 2d6 plus blood, which is good. Roll. Fucking 5. Cannot roll for my life here.
Can I
I
try
miss
like
my hunger gets the best of me, and everyone suffers.
Oh, sorry. That is specifically for your.
That
That's
is
for
the
your eternal
miss
hunger.
on eternal hunger. When
Right.
you feed on someone, roll with blood. On a 10 plus, all 3. On a 7 to 9, choose 2. I was hoping to get a 7 to 9.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I got a 5.
Okay.
Attacking somebody in combat, I'm not sure the Eternal Hunger move works all that well. Because
Oh yeah, no,
one of the
it was not.
choices for Eternal Hunger is that they don't get hurt, whereas in this case you do want them to get hurt.
It was not a tactical decision. I should be clear about that.
No, I understand that. I think Eternal Hunger presumes that the other people are not trying to kill you while you're doing it.
I maybe.
So I think so. Okay, so you let's see. So I think there's two things that happen here. So well, a few things. So you do feed on, you know, you kind of bound forward and just like deck you know, one of the two goons, and he is pretty clearly down for the count. The other one takes a shot at you as you're coming. So go ahead and mark 2 harm for that.
Sure.
I was trying to, Dancy, I was trying to figure out, you had some harm from escaping with Flaylock. I think you may be up in the serious or critical harm at this point.
I have a serious wound.
Because I think you had 2 harm marked before, and then you took 2 harm at the start of this encounter.
Yes, that sounds right.
So I think you should be at 4 boxes checked.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah, each harm checks the number of boxes that you've taken.
I understand.
Yeah. Okay. And then not immediately, Carrie. I think Dancy is going to get a chance to act, but you're going to need to roll to keep your cool, to not continue feeding sort of uncontrolled in this.
Sure.
In this room with 2 of your friends and only one of your
one of my friends, one of my enemies, and someone who I have a very unstable détente with at the moment.
Yes, fair enough.
Is that fair? I think that's fair.
Yes. Yeah. So, but Dancy, you see, you know, you've got now. I think you have an opportunity here.
Yeah. So, make the most of it here. I'm just going to bound on one of them while he's shooting.
Are you using your knife, your dagger?
At this point, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think you can roll one more as a 9. Okay. So on a hit, you inflict harm as established. So that's going to be 3 harm, which I think is going to I think is going to put that, yeah, it's going to put that the second goon down for the count. Let's see. They inflict harm on you. They put you in a bad spot. Or they create an opening to flee. Well, you've done lethal harm to them, so I guess they're not going to flee. I think so. I think you're on this guy before he can sort of before he can bring his gun to bear.
He was shooting Carrie.
Yeah. But I think, as you get in close, he is going to pull a knife as well, and he'll do well. How's that? I don't think I actually want to. I'm trying to remember if you check the last harm box, are you dead, or is that a like?
You could fill up all of your harm, and then one more.
And then one more. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
it was
I was just reading it because I'm trying to figure out what the thing about clearing the faint harm box when I already have serious harm means.
Right.
But we'll worry about that later. I just was.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, so he basically sticks you with a knife as you are as you're sort of on him, and so you're going to mark your fifth harm box, and so you are in the 2 goons are down. You are going to need some medical attention, toot sweet. And Kara, you are still hungry. You've had the taste, and your blood is up, as it were.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
special and for effect here. So Dancy staggers up, clearly about to fall over, and she is holding a knife in both hands in your direction.
Yeah.
Standing between you and Red.
I love that because it feeds directly into the thing I was going to say I'm afraid of here before I roll it, which is actually I'm afraid that because Dancy is closer, I'm just gonna feed on. I'm just gonna make a move to feed on her, and she'll kill me.
Because you're a sensitive enough vamp to know that that's not a kitchen knife.
Yeah, and I'm not really afraid of feeding on Red. Like, that's something I do sometimes. I trust him, and I'm just not. I'm less. I'm always obviously a little afraid that I'll lose control and hurt and hurt him. But like the thing I'm really scared of right now is
Dancy's seen bloodlust before.
Yeah.
So she recognizes it, which is why she is exerting her will to stay standing up.
So keeping my cool involves rolling with spirit, which is bad. Come on, cut me some slack, dice. Okay, that's a 7. That's a 7.
Scrape.
Finally, something. Okay, basic moves. On a 7 to 9, you tell me what it's going to cost me to keep my cool, which I guess avoids going after Dancy and probably dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, Red, you can see badly hurt.
You can see, the blood is streaming down Dancy.
Yeah.
And how she's standing, you're not 100% sure.
Yeah.
I have a possible idea.
Sure. I mean, Kale,
go for it. I have a thought too, but I am curious what you've got.
So I took a corruption move earlier, which was eyes that burrow. Mark corruption to lock eyes with someone and force them to be still for as long as you maintain the gaze. Mark corruption additionally to make them forget the whole thing.
Okay.
So I wonder if I can, he's readying up, taking a thing, and I can grab his eye line and keep him down.
I think you can probably do that, but I think I probably have to make a choice of some kind first.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
make a choice first. Yes.
So
choice
so
first.
the cost I was going to offer is that you can keep it together enough to not go after Dancy, and instead make to Red. But I think you said you were not you're not afraid to feed on Red, and that he's willing. But I think if you do in this state, you will hurt him physically. It's not
Right. So
Yeah.
so what's the cost for him to keep his cool and not to do it?
that's
Well, that's the cost. I mean, the thing. I either have to feed on you or Red, right? The thing I was afraid of was going for you and you killing me, right?
right.
Oh, so
Right. So this is like the choice is I feed on or I go for Red and hurt Red, which I mean, at which point you'll also kill me. But
Different
Well,
way.
I
Right.
think we could twist that a little because I think maybe if you're like Red, if you say or at least you let Red know, Red may do the whole thing on Dancy so that you can feed on him without Dancy killing you.
are we cool with that? Can I? No, because I don't want to. I also don't want to hurt you.
Yeah, that's the thing. He shouldn't.
Like,
He doesn't want to hurt you.
that's actually not something I particularly like. Like, I'm not going to get to roll, right? I'm going to do the harm, which is 3 harm armor piercing.
Right.
And I don't really want to do that. So I. But Dancy's so badly hurt. Also,
It's a hard choice, my man. You kill Dancy if you do this.
well, and I mean, I assume I do get to roll if I feed on Dancy.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Yeah, but you got bloodlust though. I'm going to get stab you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dancy's gonna absolutely stab me. I don't. So I do think I make the move for Dancy, right? I think that's the play here. I think it's got to be.
Then I'm going to attempt to stop you from getting
Yeah.
to Dancy.
Sure. I'm
Yeah.
down.
All right.
I take a little half step back and sort of slip in my own blood. But I don't quite go down. I'm holding that knife out. There is no way he attacks me without he gets it.
I don't think he gets that far because eyes
And
that
this
burrow.
is no, I know, I understand.
Okay.
Though this is the situation you see as he's advancing,
Okay.
and this is an unholy weapon, so it probably won't be good for him.
So yeah, I think you advanced and your eyes are kind of locked above you at Dancy, which allows Red to sort of.
And Dancy's clearly trying to get him to back away, and it's not working.
It's not working, and Red
She is not assaulting him. She is trying to back up.
And Red levels himself to meet your eyes so that our eyes lock. And then I just mark a corruption, and you're gonna stop being able to move as long as I'm keeping eyes with you.
Yeah, I think I can't say it, but you see me mouth the words.
And I think I have a question for Kale.
Sure.
So I can mark a second corruption to make them forget the experience. If I do that, does that make them forget, or knock out of the bloodlust? Is what I'm wondering. Because if I zap their memory real quick, does it knock them out of bloodlust?
I feel like not remembering that I haven't eaten, or doesn't make me less hungry, or may for a moment, but isn't really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but right now you're in bloodlust, right? You're in a
frenzy.
You're frenzying.
I feel like it's physiological, not like.
But you weren't hungry before until you were in the startled state.
Yeah, you did a thing
startled.
that made you lose control.
Sure. Oh, I
And
hear what
also,
you're saying.
you'd get
Meaning
the
it's the Hulk, right? I'm always hungry. It's just a question of whether I'm in control of it.
That's
That's
right.
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I think that is sort of where I was leaning, was that yeah, I think that's a reasonable offer. I guess the question of how far back does, what does Carrie remember?
That do we want to? Yeah, that is either A, up to you as the MC, or we can do some kind of role, or it just says make them.
Oh,
forget them.
I don't think that's, I don't feel the need to. I think we can let you or Carrie. I'm not, that feels like more of an interesting story beat than a
Right.
That's fair.
than a mechanical one.
Yeah. Jesse, I will leave that up to you how much you want him to forget.
Well, what was the thing that triggered it? It was
The failure to bite.
it was the bite, right? It was just the fact that like I was able to indulge my hunger, and
Yeah.
that made you want to indulge it more. So I think it's just that moment, right? That's all,
Yeah.
right? That's all I really need, right? Because I may be able to like fill in the gap in my memory intellectually, but
Yeah, no,
like,
I think-
I don't have the experience anymore.
Well, you remember biting, and that's what you remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And then you don't remember turning in frenzy.
Yeah, I think that's
Uh,
right. I think
with-
that makes sense.
with the and as soon as you relax and the madness leaves your eyes,
Yeah.
then Dancy sits down hard. And
I'm gonna do something you probably aren't gonna like, Dancy.
Dancy's Dancy's dying.
Yeah. No.
She's trying to tear a strip from one of her t-shirts to stanch the blood flowing out of her leg.
Yeah, I think Red's
Are we
gonna
gonna
grab.
get you a
And
doctor,
it's not
Yeah, I'm gonna get a doctor here, and Red is gonna push the speed dial for Percival.
I put my hand
Don't
on
you
my
have other
shoulder.
friends?
You don't have to. I know people.
Yeah. Don't you have other friends?
No, this is my
I
best friend.
certainly do.
And Red hesitates a moment. He's like, "You sure? He's good people, and they can be here quick. You both are really injured."
Stella can take care of this.
Okay, and then so I think the speed dial starts, but Red ends it. So you can play with that, Kale.
Yeah. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the street to Stella, who is in my web and owes me a debt. She's not in my web, but she owes me 2 debts. If she's not in my web, it matters. It's less helpful because I can't get the extra 3. Oh no, that's fine. That's perfect. Yeah, who owes me a debt. I'm going to hit the streets with her. And I believe isn't there a thing? Oh, and I just took the corrupt. That's what it was. I'm about to take the corruption move. That lets me. I was literally just looking at this. Where is it? Is it a vamp one or a Someone has this corruption move, and I was about to take it. When you hit the streets with someone that's in your debt, you can roll something. Hold on. That's that. Oh no, this is a move I already have. Never mind. It's a vamp move that I already have. That is not a
In the neighborhood
at all. What? Yeah, in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
When you hit the streets with someone who owes you a debt, too many things on this character sheet. When you hit the streets with someone who owes you a debt, you can cash in the debt before rolling add +2 to your roll. If you get a hit, you could also cast in the middle of a compromised or vulnerable situation, take +1 ongoing them against them for the scene. And I just want her to send a fucking doctor over here as fast as she can.
All right.
So let's roll that. So that's a 4, but +1 because she's a knight is a 5, +3 is an 8.
All right. Perfect. Now, debt moves, hit the street. So 7 to 9. I think so. I think she's going to she'll send the doctor. But you're she's gonna want you're gonna owe her one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm totally cool with that.
She definitely wants
Very,
wants
very
a debt for
reasonable. That seems cheap to me. I'm happily take that.
that. Fair. And I think I want to cut it there because I do actually want to do. I think I want to do time passes. Do I want to do time passes? We've got. I know Steven did not make this session and thus did not get to.
Well, we could always
Right.
DM Steven.
Yeah, I think that's. I think yeah. I think I wanna know what your city moves are gonna be. And I will say, Red, that getting the sword to Stella is probably not is not something you should. That is a thing we've sort of established is going to happen. So don't feel like you need to city move that or hang on to it or whatever like that. I'm okay with that just being a thing at this point, if that makes sense to everyone.
There is something I'd like to do really quick before that, if possible.
Sure.
That I had hoped to do.
Yeah. What's that?
I'd like to roll sort of skim the surface on these like fucked up people with the two attackers.
Sure. Got it. Yeah, let's do it.
I get to ask one
Do
question.
I recognize them?
Which was, what secrets are you currently keeping? Is what I would have asked them.
Okay.
I'd like to put a face to a name if they're descriptive enough to do that.
I think they are not, but I think you're going to get the answer you were looking for here. The secrets that they are keeping is that they were specifically sent by Percival, targeted at Carrie.
Oh, bitch!
Knew it.
Spicy and terrible, and that's gonna make for some.
He sent Norman's.
Red does not share that with people. Just putting that out there. Red sees, skims, and then
Dancy's guess who it is.
And I think Red lies and says they're dead. I can't get anything off of them, which means I get to take another corruption move.
Dang. Two corruption moves in the same session. Or 2 corruption advances, I guess.
I don't. I don't have the list of corruption advances handy.
I find
they are all.
playbooks. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, they're in the playbooks tab.
Okay. Cool.
Way in the far right hand of this whole giant spreadsheet. Cool.
Oh, this is so fucked up that I have to. I can't talk. I don't get to talk to him before I make a city move.
Talk to who? To
Percival.
I mean, do we?
I mean, we've got. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say we have 17 minutes if we want to do a quick scene where I yell at Percival.
No, let's do questions.
I personally think it's more just like on it's obviously your call, your character, but I think like
Yeah.
as like television drama, right?
Yeah.
Like this is this is the rich cut.
Yeah.
um
No, that's fair.
you know, but
that's sort of my inclination as well. I think we can assume that I would say we can like, I mean, I don't know if you want to like play this into your city move in particular, or if you want to just, you know, when we come back from time passes, you can let us know sort of how this has, what the relationship between you and Percival has looked like in the intervening time period.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think it may impact what choices I make if I do get to talk to him, but at the same time, I can also not talk to him and I'll figure something else out to do.
these status, like I want a status 2 move here, and I just don't, like, it's so far away from there, which is cool. That is cool, right? Well, we're now at a point where like I'm looking at my status 1 moves and none of them can really accomplish the thing I want to accomplish.
Yeah.
And that's a cool feeling on the player side that I have never had before. Which is speaks in favor of the faction turn, even if as a GM I'm kind of always like, this is not really doing what I want it to. Anyways, I think I've decided on my city move.
I haven't.
Okay, I guess I want to throw out there, like, if there's sort of a fictional question that you would like to have the answer to before choosing your city move, I'm happy to sort of like, I don't know if we want to, you know, I don't know if we want to RP it, you know, offline, or if we want to just like do like you can ask a question, I'll give you an answer, or
can I maybe ask a question that might help clarify?
Sure.
It's a fictional question. Is Percival taking Red's calls right now?
That's an interesting question.
Right? Because that also helps decide, like, meaning, like, does it make sense to have that conversation or not? If Percival is withholding in a certain way, it has that drama while still, but it's sort of between, I guess, you and Red. I'm just asking the question to sort of see what the two of you think.
Yeah, I guess the thing I'm curious about, Kay, is like, what is the what are the options that you would be be choosing between, and why?
Yeah, so it's sort of like a bit of a dynamic of like, how does Percival try to explain this in some way to Red to get Red to not turn on him, essentially, is sort of where it is. Because if he is not satisfied by that choice, I imagine he might try to you know, weaken someone's standing, which is Percival's, and like start, you know, doing stuff. But if Percival can, you know, because right now he's just angry and upset and confused. But if Percival can prevent that, you know, or find a way to sort of dress this up in some kind of way to belie some of Red's fears or stop Red from turning against him, it would then change what I do.
This is good stuff. So who is Percival? Is Percival the person who's going to try to explain himself? Or is he the person who's going to be like, I guess I'm just using force now?
Yeah, I guess to an extent, it's like, you know, is this just like is he not gonna answer Red and just decide like, no, I've let you play with freedom too long, now I'm going to take? Or is he going to try to sort of, you know, for lack of a better word, like coochie coo and be like, oh no, you know, I'm doing this for your own good, I care about you so much, like, and try to keep that sense of that there.
Yeah, no, I don't I don't think that. So I think Percival would do sort of as much as he can to I guess not answer the question directly. But I don't think he's. I also, at a certain point, I don't think he's going to sugarcoat it too much.
Yeah, because I think if he takes the call, I think the sort of blunt fictional question here is, why did you do this? I was here. You could have gotten Carrie killed. You almost got Dancy killed. You could have gotten me killed. These people were dangerous. You knew I was going to be here.
I think what he says is that he doesn't. He didn't expect you to be there yet. And that's sort of the level of explanation he's going to.
And I think that Red just and you think it's okay to just kill the person, my boyfriend. You think that's acceptable behavior.
He was a distraction for too long.
I need time. I don't know if we'll be speaking again. Maybe Stella was right and I made the wrong choice in you. And I think Red goes to hang up. Unless Percival says anything or does anything to really change that tune.
I think his parting words are, we still have a contract.
And if you think a contract can keep me and my destiny bound to you over my choices, and I think he thinks of what Dancy had been saying, then I think you haven't, unfortunately, partaken in many of mismatched contracts. They don't tend to hold up well. Goodbye, Percival. And I think he hangs up.
Excellent. All right. City moves and end of session. I think those are the two. Those are the two things we've got going here. Let's. Are folks ready with their city moves, or do we want to do end of session first and then to give a few minutes?
I'm ready with both whenever you.
All right. Well, why don't we, Jesse? Carrie? Why don't you start with both? Why don't you just do both of them, and we'll.
All right. So I want to weaken Gus's. I want to weaken Gus's standing. I think
Okay.
is the thing I want to do here. Didn't really come up in this session, but that's sort of been the ongoing thing in the faction game. That I'm, and it's like a little tricky here because there's like a 3 faction kind of stand, and I actually don't. Given that I've decided I want to, I'm sort of rooting for Stella, but honestly, if Deepak ends up taking out Gus, it's not the end of the world for me either. I guess the question is, well,
so fictionally, I think you had already hadn't you already set up with.
Well, I'd set up with Stella fictionally, right? That she can get the jump on this ambush whenever it happens, right?
Yeah.
But like, I don't know how you're going to play that out in the faction game.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you'll sort of respect the move the thing that I did, but like in addition, that doesn't mean Gus is dead, right? So
Right.
even after that happens, right, there's going to be more plays to be made by the other sides, and having him weaken the faction game is helpful there. I can't imagine that that's gonna. I mean, maybe that one attack would kill Gus, but I feel like Gus is an old, powerful status 3 vampire, and it takes
I-
a little bit more than that.
I mean, yes, except that we've already established with all of the various prophecies and the sword and the everything else that I mean, Carrie doesn't know that,
Right.
and I think your city move. I think that's I think there's plenty of ways for weaken Gus's standing to like.
And I think the rumor and gossip is just that like it doesn't even take a lot because this ambush is going to happen. It's going to make him look weak, right?
Yeah.
So the news I am spreading is that Gus Endicott is weak, that the horse thieves can't hold on to their territory,
Mhm.
and it will. It will let the vultures sort of the vipers nip at their heels as Stella goes in to make her move, right? That's sort of the goal there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to roll +1, which is my status in their circle. And that's a 9.
Okay.
So yeah, on a hit, the rumors take hold. They take -1 ongoing to moves during the faction turn until they find some way to dispel the whispers. So whatever you're doing there, and then there's no. That's it.
Mhm.
And then in terms of end of session moves, what circle is Percival in? Power?
Power. Yeah.
So everyone I interacted with this session is power. I owe Stella a debt. Stella came in and we had a nice little positive interaction there at the end. I can probably hold on. I think probably the way this works is that, as complicated as this all is, except for I already marked tonight because of that move I rolled. I certainly think that my my relationship with power improved in terms of. No, maybe not. Maybe my relationship with power got worse. It's so complicated. Relationship with power got worse. I think I am going to say that. I'm going to mark power for that, and then I don't know. Maybe just kind of like, but then maybe my relationship with Knight got better. That's what happened. Stella came in, was clutch. I owe her 1. She's happy about that. Everybody wins.
Excellent. Red.
Yeah. I think for my city move, I'm actually going to consult my contacts. When you consult your contacts in any circle, roll with status in that circle on a hit, ask 3 questions, answer the best ability, hold. And I think Red, despite not talking with Percival during that time, I think is going to reach out to Amina.
Okay.
Sort of that spy on the inside, so to speak. So let's roll that and see how that goes. That's a 12.
A 12. All right.
On a 10 plus, hold 2, spend your hold 1 for 1 to take plus. Okay, cool. And I also get to ask 3 questions. What I wanna, and correct me if I'm wrong about this, Kale. I'm happy to have you answer them now, but if you want some time to think about them, I'm
Yeah,
also
so-
okay with that. And I'll
Yeah,
DM
that's my thought here was basically get the questions,
Yeah.
get everyone's moves, and then before next session, I'll have some answers, and we'll get those at the start of the session, along with sort of the outcomes of all the various city moves and everything. Does that work?
That sounds good to me.
Cool.
So I'm just going to say them now, but I will also DM them to you.
Yep.
Which is, what conflict is everyone talking about in Power? What has Percival been up to recently? And who has a debt on Percival?
All right.
And then for my regular end of session moves, it sounds like and correct me if I'm wrong, was this Mortalis that attacked us? Like, yes, by Percival's orders, but was it Mortalis or was it people from Power?
No, they were Percival's
Minions. Okay.
minions.
So I think I'm gonna mark Knight because
'Kay.
clearly I'm buddying up with Knight with Carrie, and I'm gonna mark down Power because
Mhm.
I have had this falling out with Percival. And Stella, yeah, there's some, he might be reconsidering his destiny. Maybe Stella was right. Maybe he belongs with the wolf pack instead of with Percival. And Dancy kind of let him realize that maybe he gets a say in that destiny. It's not all written in fate. Maybe it's a choice he can make here.
Nice. Dancy. You're muted somewhere.
Hello?
Yep, you're good now.
That explains why my comments weren't being responded to.
Sorry about that.
There's not like an indicator, unfortunately. I'm going to consult my contacts
Okay.
in Power. That is just a 6, though.
Who were you consulting specifically, or what was the?
I was asking about Edward Lacroix.
Okay. So let's see. So consult your contacts on a miss. Ask one and hold one, but one of your contacts has tough questions.
Yeah, what has he been up to recently?
Okay.
That's my ask.
Yep.
You can figure out what the tough question is later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think my own my relationship with my own faction's got tipped a little bit.
It's going down. Okay.
Well, I'm withholding information from them,
True.
and Percival did this oh so predictable thing, but he finally did it, and that's not going to cause any trouble. So I don't feel good about that. And I haven't talked to my friends in Mortalis a lot, so I'm going to bump up them.
All right. And yeah, I will stop the recording and we can do some stars and wishes.